The purpose of my being here is to announce that I am standing for president next year. And I have a specific message which I want to put across. Now, my message, as you see in my statement, is that we live in a we were born, all of us, I believe, in a very blessed country. Uganda is blessed in the air with wonderful climate and weather, blessed on the ground with 1/2 of East Africa's arable land. The other 4 countries share the other half. We are blessed beneath the ground with 27 different minerals which occur in quantities that are commercially viable and that are going to start to be extracted in the next few years. We're also blessed to be in a country that has so many things and a lot of potential in different various areas. Also beneath the ground, of course, we are blessed with oil. 6.5 billion barrels lying under there, waiting to come out. Some of it has been coming out illegally and being sold, as you know, from me, but it's going to be official. So what I'm saying here is that the next few years are going to be the most important years of Uganda in terms of wealth exploration and acquisition of wealth. But then we all know that with the current system in place, that wealth will just pass us by. We will only be observers in how it is partitioned and distributed, and we shall never be partakers in it with the current system in place. Now, that's what I come here to address here today. What has actually perpetuated this system in place is because everybody puts themselves as, well, we are standing against Museveni rather than standing for something. Now, Museveni is yesterday's news. He is going whether he wants it or not. And by the way, let me tell you something. He's only as strong as the fear he imposes on the population. Take away that fear and he is very weak. He has never been weaker. He is on his way out. There is nothing that can prolong his government. I promise you that. I promise you that. You'll hold me up to that. There is nothing that is going to prolong his government beyond 35 years. So the whole thing of we are uniting to stand against Museveni, why doesn't he unite with all of them to stand against Kabuleta? You see, for me, I unite on the in principle, not just removing Museveni. Because Museveni is mortal and he's weak right now. His whole system is in crumbles. The military are the most disorganized, disillusioned people more than anybody else. By the way, let me tell you, when these dictators look so strong, is when they're actually so weak. Remember Omar Bashir, remember Mobutu, remember all of them. When they seem so strong is when they are their weakest. And I know that for a fact. And I know that he is at his weakest. So I am not uniting with anybody unless they have a platform of economic liberation that matches with mine. Okay? And even if they have it, they will come and unite under me. Okay? Not with me. Because none of them has a message. They all have one thing: remove Museveni, remove Museveni. And by the way, let me tell you something. I met almost all of them. And they are opposition. You see, opposition. You see, you be in this thing for so long, it's like somebody calling you poor all your life that you don't even want to. If somebody calls you rich, you even get offended. Because you've been opposition, 20 years, opposition. No. Me, I'm here to propose a Uganda where the wealth of this country is distributed equally among its people. Not to oppose anybody. Museveni is not worth opposing. He's going to go. He's not even worth my time. And I wouldn't be mentioning his name, as you can hear, unless you brought it here. But you say he perpetuates himself in people's minds by thinking he's invisible. He is not. He is not. People thought Mobutu was. What happened to him? He just took a ragtag army to just march all the way to Kinshasa. And the next thing you saw. So there is no uniting forces of change. We want more than just change. Let me tell you something, people of Uganda. You can get the change you want, and it will not be. You can get change, and it will not be the kind of change that you long for. And in many of those countries, people have actually gotten change. But then they even regret the change that they got. So there has to be a platform, something specific that you vote for. Now we have to change the politics of this country from opposing somebody to actually coming up where I'm standing for this. This is what I'm standing for. And now nobody has come and said that they are standing for anything. Ask them, what is your platform? What is it that you're standing for? Now for me, I'm not standing against. I'm standing for the financial liberation of the people of this country who have been held captive and in bondage for 35 years, their dreams frozen because they have a government that does not want them to thrive. Now I am here to tell you that I am standing for those people, everybody, every single one of those, the people working in these hotels and what. These are people who have families and for whom we think, and they have to have a country where they know when we discover oil somewhere in Bunyoro, we are all going to be happy because we are going to be partakers. But we know that with this system, you will not be a partaker, and you know it, you just stay there hustling. But we have to stand up and fight, because we can no longer be nobodies in our country. Because where are we going to be respected if not in our own country? Try going abroad and you see how they will treat you. So now we have to stand up and say that we are not going to be second-class citizens in our country, and I'm talking about financial citizens. We have to stand and say that we, the people of Uganda, want to be a partaker, want to sit on that table where the cake is being distributed. Not just here, budget speeches, when then the rain or what, and so on, where figures do not reflect anywhere in your life, in your lifestyle, in your standard of living, or in your wallet. Thank you. I hope I've answered your question.
How do you rate your chances of becoming the new president of Uganda?
100%. 100%. I have absolutely no doubt that I'm going to be the next president of this country. I have no doubt whatsoever, let me tell you, that I'm going to be the president of this country. And let me tell you that the others who have stood, what have they promised? What platform have they stood on? Here is the thing. The state as it is has so much power. And the only power that is stronger than the state is the power of a movement. For the lack of a better word, I really want to keep away from that word, but then there's no better word to use. You know what I'm saying? But there is too much power vested in in the state. For instance, the electoral laws. People have been trying to change them for so many years, they cannot. Now even this scientific election, you go to court, you see that you're pitted against a system that everybody is scared of. But let me tell you this. As I have told you, this government is only as strong as the fear it imposes on us. And by the way, I can tell everybody scared of them. But now we have to stand up and realize that we have a lot more to gain than we have to lose. Actually, we don't have too much to lose. So we have a lot more to gain than we have to lose. And we have to realize that the challenges are many, I'll be honest with you. But the opportunities are even more for us. Now, listen to this, Sam Ntale. The electoral laws and all those things, as a result of people. Laws come out of people. Laws are not, laws change when there are different movements. You understand? Now, for instance, there was a time, I'll give you an example, there was a time when blacks, for instance, in America couldn't vote. They didn't challenge the law. They challenged the social status. And when the civil rights movement came up, the law had to change because it was no longer commensurate with what was on the ground. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, you don't go all the time and challenge the law because they will throw you to constitutional court and the case will take 5 years there. No, we don't have that time. I've had people saying that we negotiate with him and he has 5 years. We don't have time to negotiate. Who has 5 years to waste? I don't. Like 5 years of this same thing, nobody is going to stand that. We don't have 5 years to waste. We've already wasted 35, which is a lot of years. A lot of years. We were young when he came. Now we are here. And Somebody is saying 5 more years. On what basis? So what happens, Sam, is that when there is a movement on the, something, like there was the civil rights movement, and it gathers momentum, the law changes automatically. True? And you've seen so many other laws that change as a result of the people rising up in a certain way. I'll give you an example of something which I wrote about, recently. Malawi, same thing, same scenario, same thing, incumbency, too powerful, appoints electoral commission, appoints judiciary, appoints what? But when there was a rigged election, the people actually stood up and refused to accept the results. And because of what happened on the street, court nullified the election. The streets don't follow court. Court follows the streets. That is the reality. The court of public opinion is more powerful sometimes than even the courts of law. Sometimes, not always. So, now with all these things standing up against him, like there will be, when the people of this country rise up like they are going to, there will be no choice but for all these things to happen. Because some of the things which happened there, don't believe that they're any different from us, that country. No, they're actually not different, because they also had a 30-year presidency. Thankfully, theirs in the past. Then they had a president who gave to his brother. Then his brother is one wanted a second. All those things, you understand what I'm saying. So, but they stood up. The people finally stood up because they had been pushed to poverty, just like us. And they stood up and they said, no, enough is enough. We need to change something. And they changed it by starting a mass movement. And then the laws changed accordingly. So that's what we'll do. Here's the thing. I have a team. I do have a team. And I've been having a team for quite some time, because I haven't just thought this idea up, by the way. And it's a very strong team, but it is going to become stronger and stronger. And it is becoming stronger and stronger. So we've been building a team for quite some time now, by the way, about a year. So this announcement is not the beginning of something. It is just an announcement of something that has been ongoing for a long time. So I have a team. Secondly, did I consult God? If God doesn't want me to be president, he will tell me that stand down. But now, in the absence of a red light, I will take it for a green light. So I'm standing for the people of Uganda, including myself, and their financial liberation. I'm standing for the wealth of the people of this country. Okay? So, if God doesn't want me to stand, I'm waiting for his command. But let's just say, right now, it hasn't come, and I'm kind of not expecting it, so I'll go ahead. The Commission informing them of my intentions, and they have acknowledged the receipt of the letter. So I am officially somebody who is now consulting. You understand what I mean? So, so there are copies which are being made there. You can have them, as well as copies of my, one page stating what it is exactly that I'm